I remember in some conversation you were talking to me about how you were working on something about how people package deal profit maximization,
Yeah.
profit prioritization.
Yes.
You think you could elaborate?
Um. Yeah. So I've noticed. So this is a bit difficult to explain, but basically, people package deal profit prioritization, meaning. Sorry, I'll just say it and then I'll explain. Package deal profit prioritization with profit maximization. Now, profit maximization is in a company. I'm trying to maximize my profit, but I choose a particular activity. Let's say I make. I'm a restaurant owner, and I'm also the head chef, and I try to make food that people will like. So maximizing profit in this example is I try to make the food as best I can, and only focus on things that the customers like and are happy with. And anything that doesn't make the customers happy doesn't maximize profit, and I should just cut it out because it's a waste in a sense. And profit prioritization is profit. Sorry. So in profit maximization, the human is before the profit. The the human is like, if you want to get profit, you have to please the human being. Therefore, inherently, profit is uh, helps people pursue their happiness, live their life better, so on and so forth, which means it's inherently a good and moral thing. Profit prioritization means you put the money ahead of the human and say that profit is just something out there as an abstract concept. It's like money floating in the ether, and you should do everything you can to grab it. So in the case of the restaurant, you could say, well, I should make really crappy food that costs very little, and then I save on my expenses, and I make more profit. But obviously, in reality, and even to the degree where I harm my customers. But obviously, long term, this isn't the way to make profit, and to some degree, the restaurant cost has some upfront cost. So this whole concept, if you apply to reality, does not make any sense unless you're saying, it's a one-time restaurant that folds into paper, and then I'm cheating people, taking the money and running away, and then setting up a restaurant out of paper mache again very quickly, and then cheating some other people. But the people who believe in profit prioritization think it's earning a wage and scamming people out of money is the exact same thing, because you obtain profit. So it's kind of like explaining this to people. It's very difficult because they're already like in the mindset that either they're in the mindset that profit is immoral or can be immoral, or just neutral and people are immoral. But it's not the case that people see profit as a positive thing inherently.
Well, yeah, that's because they believe that like because people have like original sin or something, that they're gonna go and they're gonna commit they're gonna work for greed, for self for complete and utter selfishness, exploiting people and whatnot. And then the socialists believe that profit is just utterly immoral because it's like intrinsically uh yeah, it's just it's an intrinsic immoral thing.
By the way,
um
I would add one more thing to profit prioritization. I wouldn't even, if I was prioritizing profit, I wouldn't even chosen to open a restaurant. I would just go work in finance or in a casino or something.
just scam people. But even the people who
Well, not even
uh
not even scam people, but because the premise here that I enjoyed making food. But if I'm prioritizing profit, then screw my feelings. I just want to make the most money.
yeah, I think that's a part of profit prioritization.
Yeah,
uh it's kind of the removal of the concept of profit as it applies to a benefit of one's life.
I th-
Uh,
I think I think the best way to look at it is intrinsic theory of value and objective theory of value. So I don't mean to throw like big concept, but I'll just explain quickly what I mean and how it relates to this. So objective theory of value say, look, we objectively look at reality. We realize that the money that it's a human being that has that money, and we have to interact and trade with other people, please them in some way, and at the same time we have to do stuff we enjoy doing. Otherwise, what's the point in life? Like we need to live our own life. We need to do things that we like, and hopefully, or if we can tweak it to some degree, things that we like doing, we can maximize the element that we like that also works with other people, and we'll get this like symbiotic, well, I don't know, that's a good word, harmonious relationship. Maybe I watched Venom or something recently. I was using the wrong word. Harmonious relationship with other people, and it's a very positive thing. So now like profit becomes like really cool, like a really cool concept that you should be happy about. But if it's like the intrinsic theory of value, then there's money out there disconnected from human beings, and you need to get as much of it. And how do you get as much of it? Well, you can either be honest if you have Kantian morality because you're a good person and you don't listen to the devil sitting on your shoulder or whatnot, or you can be evil and just scam people and steal from people and get as much of this money for yourself as possible, because it's detached from everything else. There will be no consequences from it. The only consequence that you may get from it is your own conscience, the angel sitting on your shoulder. Yeah, that's what I think, and it's something I'm trying to articulate perhaps a little bit better, but it's just something I'm digesting for the time being.
No, yeah, no, I think I understand what you're saying. So you're saying, there's the intrinsic theory of value of money is just an end in itself.
Yeah.
It's something to value for the sake of valuing it, for without any regard for what you're going to use the money for.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think there's many. I don't think there's many people who are rich who actually believe that. Because I'm pretty sure most people who are rich have most of their money in physical items that are of value to them, or of value to a business, or a part of the business that they control. That they actually have very little money in like spendable amounts.
Oh, in the bank or under the mattress, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree with that. Like if they're rich, it's because typically they're an entrepreneur. They have a company that did well, no matter what industry. Like they just really liked that particular industry. Even at the time, it wasn't doing that well, but they kind of made it work, and they're doing well. And because they own large shares in their own company that they founded, they're doing well. And the whole process from start to finish with the company, they really wanted to make a product or make a service that people were really excited about. They were really excited about it. They thought it was solving a need in society, but also made them feel happy to work on it, or productive to work on it. And yeah, they set out for it. They led the team. They took some risk. They tweaked. They chopped off parts that were waste and increased the part that were made the customers more happy. And they did something great. They took young kids to the company and they taught them how the industry works, and they saw all this talent and they put this talent together in like a very good team, and they made it work, and great on the cover of magazines, and rightfully so. And then you have someone like Bernie Madoff, who basically scammed people, took their money, led a miserable life according to him, because he constantly had to lie to people, and had very tragic results for himself, his family, and everyone that was involved with him. To some degree, like, a lot of wealth was lost through this kind of scheme as well. Whereas the entrepreneurs that just wanted to maximize profit and make other people happy created a lot of wealth.
No, you're 100% right. It seems like most of the people who are like the uber wealthy, I mean like the people who made billions of dollars, the highest entrepreneurs, they're the people who focus on things like profit maximization, of building wealth in society, of providing actual services that people want, like Amazon or SpaceX or whatever company you want to pick, uh, providing these companies that people want. And then there's like I guess you could call them semi wealthy in comparison, the people who make like maybe millions of dollars and they make it through like scamming people. It doesn't seem like those people live very happy lives because ultimately they're not building anything for themselves.
I think also you have to factor in that there's no way that scamming is a long-term thing. There's just no way. Like you can get away with it for so long, and then something will fall. You'll get arrested by the police. Someone will tell on you, or what. I don't know. It's definitely not a long term. And obviously, we hear of the ones that managed to get away with it for the longest, but most of them were still caught, if not all of them. And we don't hear about like the small scammers that got caught like a week later or a month later. These are if you apply the words long term to it, there's only one true way of doing it, and that is just working hard, producing something that you like and other people like, and that is really it. That it's literally what Ayn Rand said. That my wife read this. Ayn Rand had like an introduction to, I think, Atlas Shrugged. So she hasn't written Atlas Shrugged yet. She's writing in a diary about how she plans to make it, and I think Pycroft later included that in the introduction to like a future release of Atlas Shrugged, I believe, and she said something like, it was really insightful. I have to say, it was very, very strong. I couldn't absorb all of it in the first go. I had to like just think about it and then come back to it later at another time. But she said something like, people who want to build stuff, like the heroes in Atlas Shrugged, they just want to do it for themselves. They want to do it. They don't care how other people necessarily react to it. They just want it to exist. Like, for example, in The Fountainhead, they were asking Rourke to build this fake area because it was a scam, and they thought he's a terrible architect. So, because he failed on these other projects, they thought he's a terrible architect. So he'll fail, and they wanted him to fail so they can just say, well, it's his fault, and collect the insurance money or whatnot. But he was very successful. And Rourke read this and he says, look, it doesn't matter what the reasons for this. All that matters was that I built it. I made it. I brought it to the world. That's all he cared about. And he knows that other people will like it because it just makes sense in reality. Like, there's no way people don't like his buildings because his buildings are just good. It's objectively good. In reality, it's not fake. It's not pompous. It's not pretending to be something it's not. It's just functional and beautiful, objectively. I suppose you can say beauty is something, but you know, a good book also is beautiful, and a lot of people acknowledge that it is, and that was what they were trying to do. So I should actually read what she wrote. It was so good. It was really like concentrated cleverness. I have to go back to it. But yeah. That's basically what entrepreneurs are, and we reward these people in society, and rightfully so. I mean, even if you look at the top richest people in the world, it's like Jeff Bezos created a company, Elon Musk has 8 companies, Bill Gates. It's not people. I mean, you have people like Warren Buffett that are genuinely good. Also, like the knowing where to invest money in parts of society is good, but like the majority of people on that list, they started something. They own shares in a very successful company, and that is the reason why they are rich. And even if they weren't on that 500 richest list, they would still do it. They would still try to do it because that's all they care about. Like if you talk to Elon Musk, he just wants to solve problems. That's what he's excited about. He barely cares how much it costs. He was living on site, something SpaceX related. They had this like foldable house that it was a house. It was a legit house, but it comes folded and then they set it up and then it stays forever. But it was like a 1-bedroom kind of house, and that's what he wanted to do. He sold all his houses, by the way, and he's living in this cheap house. He has billions of dollars on paper, but he doesn't care. He just wants to solve problems. That's what excites him.